Israel's attention. And God knew the time period that it was going to take to get Israel's attention. And no matter what Elijah was facing, now he becomes a victim. Even though it's for those that have turned their back on God in a sense, or those who would not recognize God, he himself now becomes a victim. He's right in the same position that everybody else is in. He doesn't have any water because the Lord have closed up the heavens. And no matter what he's trying to do at this point, he cannot make it rain. I don't care if Elijah wanted to leap 3 times. It wasn't going to rain. I don't care if he wanted to design a sermon, say the curse has been reversed. It wasn't going to rain. I don't care if he fasted 40 days. It wasn't going to rain because God said, I ain't going to let it rain yet. And sometimes in our life, we go through certain things and it gets dry. It gets kind of pale. It gets empty. And I don't care sometimes what we do, God ain't coming through. And now what do we do when we get to that point? Because we understand how to move God, and we understand how to pray, and we understand how to fast. We understand how to praise and how to worship. We understand even in fact how to cry out to God. But what happens when none of those things are working? That's where many people get discouraged and leave God because they feel they're not anointed anymore. They feel that they're not saved anymore. But see, if you're only saved based on how you feel, I just need to drop a real bomb on you. You wasn't really saved at all. Because salvation is not a feeling. Salvation is based on believing. And you got to believe and trust God even when it seems like you don't feel nothing. All the time you ain't gonna feel like shouting. You ain't gonna feel like praising. You ain't gonna feel like preaching. You ain't gonna feel like singing. You ain't gonna feel like dancing. But salvation is not based on what you feel. It's based on what you believe. Because the enemy will always come and make you feel opposite of what the situation really is. The enemy will make you feel like you in despair, and God say you're not there. It's just an empty period of time. And because you can't move him. You see, the thing is, none of us as creatures can command the Creator. And I've said it so many times, and I just like to reiterate it, because sometimes when we've been saved and we've acquired titles and all those things are up under our belt, we feel that we could command God to move at a certain time. But never at any time can you command God to do anything. Only thing you can do is ask him. You can't command him to come right now. He's given you authority and power over the devil, and you can command him because he's subject to you. You have dominion over him, but you cannot command God. You can ask God. You can inquire of him. You can petition him, but you cannot command him. And that's what happened. Many times you get in a desperate situation, and we get to the point where we start commanding God, and God says, wait a minute here now. I'm the creator, you the creature. That's why Job had enough sense to say, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. And then I just need to know, I mean, because I'm preaching it to you, but I had this question to God for myself. God, what do I do when I can't make it rain? When all of the praying and ain't nothing happening. With all of the going here and the going there and the doing this and trying this and seem like God ain't nothing happening. Say, God, what do I do? And he began to give me some revelatory things, and therefore I want to share it with you in delivery today, because you see, many people say, well, Pastor, that's just your message. Whatever the shepherd deals with, the sheep have to deal with the same thing. When you're connected, and God began to tell me there are many people that don't know what to do when they can't move me, when they ain't hearing from me, when you done prayed and you done fasted and you done waited and the bills still haven't gotten paid. They drop off from church, they drop off from praising, they stop praying, they stop all of that and say, well, God, I'm a pout, and that gonna move you. You know how sometime when you're kids and mama or daddy don't do what you want them to do, the first thing you do is you go into a pout mode. But we had parents that you couldn't really go into a pout mode. If you go into a pout mode, then they switch into a whipping mode.